Coach Sal with an opening statement, and we'll open it up for questions.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to congratulate Lake Mary Little League World Series, the coaches, their players. I mean, that's big time. I know a lot of our coaches and players were keeping up with them the last game or so, so real proud of those guys. Week one's finally here, an opponent, New Hampshire. We're looking forward to playing these guys here at home in front of our home crowd. We've got a lot of new players. I'm real excited to watch our team play. I think this first game will tell us a lot. About where we're at, but the big thing is just finally getting to play a week one opponent here at home, and looking forward to it. Questions?
Coach, John Walker put on social media that he had some sort of knee injury. Can you update us on his status?
Yeah, he did. He had a lower body injury, I think a couple weeks ago. He's going to be out for an extended period of time. Hopefully we'll get him back before the season's out. I'll keep you updated as it gets closer and all that.
And on that note, I saw Dalen Dotson on the depth chart was listed as a defensive tackle. Was that a move because you're not going to have John Walker early on?
Well, yeah, and he is a guy that's played inside some. When we were, watching his film when he went in the portal, he played some 4-eye against Georgia and did some good things too. So he's a guy that is at least familiar there. And then we've got some young guys too that, are really coming on and really trying to develop those guys. The good thing at that position, we do have some quality depth, which definitely helps.
Yes, along those lines with health, is there any other players that you could talk about that are banged up or may not be able to go?
Yeah, Jordan Davis, we're not going to have him this year. He tore his Achilles the first week of practice. Jordan's been, just a phenomenal teammate person since I've been here. He's overcome injuries after injury, and he wanted to try it again, and got hurt again. But everybody else, we expect to be ready to go.
Coach, typically you talk about this first week still being part of the evaluation process, but in this particular, a lot more transfers perhaps than in the past. Does that change your approach at all, or what's different in your first week evaluation you're going into the game?
I mean, like I've said, fall camp has been a grind. That was intentional to make sure to bring our team closer together. I talked about our team building things, and all that's great, but there's nothing like being out there. They put the coaches on the sideline and they let the players play. And that's what I'm most excited about, to see how they're going to respond to success, adversity, how close they're going to be, who the leaders are going to step up. Like I said, they make the coaches stay on the sideline for a reason. And every championship team I've been a part of, has been player-led. So all those dynamics, that's what I will be looking forward to seeing, on Thursday.
Curry Brown was listed as number 2 on the depth chart just released. What did he do during camp to earn that?
Yeah, we let him go live a couple weeks ago in the scrimmage, and it was completely different letting a guy like that go live. His playmaking ability, and him and KJ, they have similar skill sets, and so you don't have to completely change your offense or something like that. But he's still learning, but he has a really talented skill set. He's got a strong arm, and he can run, and so I'm excited to watch him this year.
Walk-on freshman D-tackle Tyreek Robinson made the 2D. I was wondering what it means for a guy like that to make it.
Well, we recruited him. We thought he, had a skill set. I can tell the guys, I don't care if you're a 5-star transfer, 5-star walk-on. I mean, everybody's gonna get an opportunity, and he's shown we got opportunity that he deserves to be in the mix, to have a chance. He's still young. I mean, he's still a lot to learn, but he does have a skill set that, I think if he'll keep progressing, he'll be able to help us.
Paul, we're about 1 to 5th offensive line spots, and what made him what growth did you see out of him, and what stood out as far as including him in the starting rotation?
Yeah, Paul has grown probably as much as a player in 1 year as any player I can remember. I mean, just knowledge of the game, his mindset, everything that goes with it. He has come on and starting to turn into one of our better offensive players. I've been real proud of Paul, and he's had a great camp.
Coach, you've been around a lot of championship teams. What are some characteristics you feel like this team embodies that can get you guys over that hump?
Yeah, I mean, we got leaders. We have experience. I mean, I think when you look at our roster, we have a lot of guys that played a lot of football, a lot of big-time football, and have played well. Playing big-time football, but it's all about chemistry and coming together. Coming together as a team, and that's going to be our challenge. That's everybody's challenge. I mean, you could look at the first week games, you can look at these games coming up this weekend. I mean, it's just the chemistry, you know, can they be a true team, not individuals? You're in a time of college football that the world tells you individual, and so that's our challenge, and we've been talking about it, but there's nothing like getting out there. That's where we'll find out. So we do have quad experience. We do have more playmakers on defense than we had last year. We've got experienced quarterbacks, so you know you like that part of it, but we'll find out once the game starts.
Coach, you have a lot of depth at the wide receiver position. Talk about Trent Whitmore seemingly winning that wide receiver 3 spot.
Yeah, Trent has been one of those guys kind of in the background since he's been here. Now he's starting to establish himself as one of our better receivers. I mean, he has really made some really nice plays catching the football. He's always been one of those kind of dirty work guys. He'll block, he's very smart, but he's really taking his game to the next level. And I think probably more than anything, he's actually got more opportunities. You know, we had Javon last year, like now we don't have Javon. So he's got more opportunities and he's really seized them on.
Coach, you mentioned the Lake Mary kids, they set a goal, accomplished it, and you guys have set goals, are about to embark on this. Is it motivating even for older players, older coaches to see this come to fruition and you guys are getting ready to take
I think
this?
anytime somebody does something extremely special and it's in the area and local and all that, you're already proud of them. I mean, I think that is a really neat deal, not just for us, but everybody in the area.
Did you grow up playing Little League?
Yeah, I played Little League baseball. Never was good enough to make it to like a Little League World Series.
You talked a little bit about the challenge of having an opponent in front of you. What are the challenges that New Hampshire is going to bring you guys and we want to see?
You know, when you turn on the film, of course, they're going to have quite a few new players just like us. They got a new quarterback. Their quarterback last year, he transferred to Minnesota. They got another transfer, and I think he's a pretty good guy. You know, their defense plays extremely hard. You can tell they're well coached. Their head coach played there, a real successful quarterback. They have a lot of pride in their program, and so you know we got to play good, clean football. And like this game, honestly, will be more about us than it will be our opponent. But we have a lot of respect for the program.
Behind RJ Harvey, you have a gauntlet of running backs. How do you plan to distribute the carries and make sure they get their fair touch?
Yeah, you know, it starts with RJ Harvey, and I think everybody knows that he is set up to have a great year. And we'll have a plan. We'll have a plan going into each game. You know, Coach Cam Martin will have that plan. You know, we'll see how each one goes. The great thing is we have quality depth at the running back position, which you can never have enough of that. So you know, we'll have different plans each game. You may see two guys on the field at the same time, some two. So we'll see how each game unfolds.
Guys, you talked about this game being a little bit more about your guys itself rather than New Hampshire. What do you want to see from your guys out of this game?
I want us to play good team football. I want us to be sound on offense without all the penalty crap and all that like we talked about. I want us to be sound on defense, and you know, I want to hear some hits where the crowd goes, "Whoa," you know, type deal. And I want to play good disciplined football. I mean, that's really it. It's just getting back to the basics. That's really been what we talked about the whole fall camp, and not have those self-inflicted wounds. And you know, that's the challenge of the first game. You look at those first games. I mean, there's a lot of penalties. I mean, we can't be that team, and you know, hopefully that will happen.
On that note, what would be a quality first start for KJ Jefferson?
I mean, I think for him to get out there and play with his teammates and play good, clean football, and you know, get some momentum.
How good is this team? How capable are they of achieving?
I mean, that's just yet to be seen. I mean, like I said, we got experience. We've got some playmakers. We'll learn a lot. I'll learn a lot too, just like y'all will. I mean, you know, the practices are great. You can learn from the scrimmages, especially when your quarterback goes live, but there's nothing like getting on that sideline as one and playing against an opponent and have to adjust, have to overcome adversity, success, how you going to deal with it, and just grow as a team, you know. So I'll be able to tell you as the weeks go.
Coach, a lot of you and the other coaches talk a lot about not getting too high or not getting too low. A lot of close games taking place over week 0 here. Do you kind of point to those as an example that anybody's vulnerable in any way?
More quality in college football than ever before. You're going to continue that. As long as the portal's like it is, I mean, you're going to have your handful of teams that spend $20+ million that, you know, on the NIL, they probably set, but everybody else, I mean, there's a lot of quality. And, you know, there's a lot of newness, so we got all our new players, you know, other teams got new players, so, you know, I think that trend will continue.
3 of your spring portal additions were listed as defensive starters between Mac, Sheldon, and Najee. So after the spring camp, what did you guys evaluate as a staff as far as the defensive needs, and then also how do those 3 guys adapt and learn the schemes so quickly?
Anybody that, you know, has started, they've earned it since they get here. You know, we thought highly of all 3. The good thing is those guys right there with them. I mean, in the secondary, we have a lot of guys that could be listed as starters. That's a good thing. You know, so we have some depth back there. But, you know, Kelly's a guy that, you know, he started at another in-state school, got banged up, now he's healthy again, so it did surprise us.
All but 4 of your starters have came to UCF under you. Does this team feel more like your team?
I like this team a lot as human beings and who they are as people. You know, big picture team. I mean, I like them. You know, right now I'm looking forward to the journey with them in the process, and you know, whatever that means. But I really like coaching these guys. I feel like everybody we have wants to be coached. They want to be team oriented. You know, I'm sure that, you know, individuals and all that, but I like coaching this team.
I guess you brought in a few new coaches and coordinators on your staff. Is there a sense of kind of you guys maybe having to get fit in together? Newness, I guess, with this first game, you know, trying to make sure you guys are all on the same page when it comes to game day stuff?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I mean, I think anytime even me and Ted, we coached together for 3 years, but it's been a long time ago. And, you know, in scrimmages, I'm usually calling the offense, he's on the defense. So, but, you know, it's good. We got a good plan of how we communicate. And I think the big thing is the communication with the quarterbacks. You know, that's obviously new. The tablets and getting information how you're going to be organized. You know, I talked to a couple coaches that already played and, you know, asked their, you know, was there any growing pains or anything you didn't expect or whatever like that. So that's really the newness. Everything else I think will be pretty easy.
Coach, how happy are you just to get done with all like the all-season hype and outside the room stuff, and just be able to put the ball down, coach football, and just play?
Yeah, there's been a lot of talk. I mean, there's been a lot of everybody's sick of talking, you know, and now we're ready to play and see what happens. Put the ball down. So you're exactly right. There's around our building, it's been that way probably for the last 2 or 3 days. You know, ready to get this thing going.
Texas Tech head coach Joey McGuire announced that they'll be releasing player availability reports each week. Will you do the same?
No, I'm not gonna say it. Thank you. You know, nobody. I mean, I don't know how you do that until, you know, a lot of times you don't find out if a guy gets hurt until. I mean, a guy is going to be available until, you know, before the game sometimes. So, yeah, I did see that. I didn't know exactly what that meant, but no, we won't be. Does that hurt your feelings? Is it okay? Disappointed that we're not, or?
What do you say about how far the run defense has come, and what do you want to see out of them?
The what?
The run defense. What do you want to see out of them?
I want to stop the run this year. That's what I want to see.
Yes, you talked about talking with some of the coaches who've maybe played already this weekend. Obviously, you know Mike Norvell at Florida State. You saw what happened to them. How much is it like trying to avoid maybe the hype train going into the season and making sure that everyone's on the same page? How important is that? Maybe to kind of not get distracted and let someone come up and sneak it
Yeah,
out.
I mean, I think it's like, you know, I'm sure both those teams probably had a lot of new players, you know, and you learn a lot about your team. And you know, we played Georgia Tech the bowl game, and they're a good team. And so I mean, I don't know. They got good players and they're a good team.
Obviously, there was some struggle to stop the run last year, so you brought in a bunch of transfers. Andrew Harris, though, is the only returner to make the 2 deep. What have you seen from him this camp?
You know, he's a more veteran guy. You know, he was still green and young last year. He's got a skill set. We knew that, but he's more confident.
You mentioned the communication to the quarterback. What's that process been like for you?
Yeah, you know, I've got a veteran quarterback, KJ, and you know, I see a lot of these guys. You can tell they're talking a whole lot. I'm trying not to talk too much. I mean, let the guy play. There's certain things that you want to give reminders, probably especially early on in the the season, that maybe as he's still learning the offense, everything that goes with it. He's a veteran guy, and, so I'm not gonna overtalk.
There's a proposal to eliminate the spring transfer portal window and just have the winter one, December, early January. Do you have an opinion on that? Is that something as coaches you would like to see it shrunk down?
Yeah, I mean, I think the less, the more you can shrink it down, I think that helps. You know, like I said, I'm thinking about New Hampshire now. I'll answer that question better after the season.
Anything else? All right.
All right,
Thanks, Coach.
thank you.
Thank you,
very much.
Coach.